Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Lois and welcome back to Stoneblock. In the last episode, we were working on... Oh, these are a lot farther than I expected them to be. We were working on some Project E things. First of all, making a dark matter machine. So basically this will produce dark matter and red matter as we want it. And we also started working on getting some energy collectors, which are over here, doing energy collector things, specifically turning glowstone into alchemical coal, and then eventually it'll turn all of that into Aeternalis blocks, and that is going to be awesome. So, between episodes, I stood around for a little bit. I farmed a little bit of the dragon egg seeds, and apparently accidentally picked up some stuff. And sorted through the rest of the drawer stuff on this side. So everything over here either has a spot in the crafters or is in this chest. But there's a problem. All of these filled up all 7 of these crafter tier 3s. So we're going to have more. But I'm going to kind of wait until I can get the neutronium before I finish this one off. Most of these things are going to be pretty easy. A few of them might have a couple other recipes, like Fluix, maybe? Nope. So I think most of these are, other than the Wither Skeleton ones, which we might actually want to keep as Wither Skeleton, most of these should be just turning into things. So I'll have to make sure that I have enough crafters for that. Probably just going to be these 3 we'll go ahead and do, and then fill up the rest of this with drawers and start letting this farm. At first, it's going to have to... Actually, what I'll probably end up doing is doing the area, and then every time it does the area, it should be fine, so long as there's nothing major. I might put some vacuum hoppers or something of the like above here and transfer it into the same system, just to kind of make sure, but that is working out pretty good. Now, along with that, let's grab some prosperity shards, because today we're going to start off by doing some questing. Namely, we're going to finish up the mystical agriculture stuff. So we need to make an insanium ingot. This is going to be really easy. I have a Supremium ingot. I have insanium. 2 of those makes the Supremium. 2 of those makes the insanium. Now this thing is, as far as I can tell, pretty much completely useless. So it's just going to go in there. Also, we can go ahead and put this stuff in here. I will say I took pretty much an entire inventory full of wither skulls to the machine, and I let it run for a little bit. We have 59 nether stars now. I could let it run indefinitely, but eventually it would run out of power. Actually, it'd run out of skulls and would just kind of use up the power. But, you know, I'm realizing we're powering that solely on solar panels that are going to be effectively wasting power regardless. So let's just turn this thing on and keep it on. So for the record, there's a lot of wither skeleton skulls in there. And I don't think we can use our wireless crafting grid across dimensions. Nope. So we could potentially, let's get some upgrades, some chest upgrades. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let's get wood to iron. Let's make 1,000 planks. Why not? So wood to iron, and then iron to gold. Do I really... Man, gold is really, really hard to come by for us for some reason. Let's just grab a bunch of soul sand. And we're going to head back over there real quick just to set this up. So eventually it will run out of wither skeleton skulls, which is kind of whatever. And I could set up a system with like an ender chest or something to fill this thing up, but I don't really care enough. Let's just fill that up with soul sand. So yeah, that should run for quite a while. This might fill up, but at the same time, I don't really care. We'll go ahead and do that and just let it set. So yeah, plenty of nether stars, that is for sure. So that is a good thing. We're going to need a lot of nether stars, especially for Draconic Evolution and Project E a little bit as well. But what we're going to do now is, so we completed the Insanium Ingot. There's one last quest in the Mystical Agriculture, actually two. We need to make a Supremium Furnace and an Ultimate Furnace. So Supremium is going to be so easy. So we're going to just take this, and we should be able to make the Supremium Furnace like so. And then for the Ultimate, we're going to need 4 blocks. So let's see, get like 9 of these. Actually, we're going to need 3 blocks, I do believe. But let's make sure that this detected. Alright, it did. Let's claim our loot chests. But we're just going to go ahead and finish the Mystical Agriculture quest. We're going to need some Wither Skeleton Skulls. I think it's 4 and then a single Nether Star. And that should be everything we need for the Ultimate Furnace. And it is. Cool. So that is all of those quests done. So let's go ahead and claim that reward as well. And, yep, Mystical Agriculture is done. So what are we going to do for the rest of the episode? That's all I got. So the Ultimate Furnace, I'm just going to throw in here because I don't really have much of a use for it. Don't really care about how fast it works. It works very quickly. Not going to lie about that, but don't really care. For the Neutronium Crux, we need 4. Of course, we need 8 Neutronium in total. We have 2. We're getting close, but let's go ahead and open our loot chest. That was worthless. Some Blacker Lotuses, kind of whatever, and some upgrades. Don't care. None of that was exciting for me. At this point, we are pretty much in the end game, so we need to make stuff that is in game. We're gonna be making some things that are pretty major. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start out by building a dimension builder. Now this is RFTools, and what we're gonna need to start doing is dimension hopping. So eventually we are going to need so much EMC to do pretty much anything. And while we could use nether stars, there are other things we can do. I've considered using basically all of our loot bags as just dump those into a thing that drains out all of the goodies. The EMC from whatever drops, and we could do that. We might actually do that a little bit, but we need EMC, so we just need matter. We need things that are costly, and well, what better way to do that than to make dimensional dimensions that are nothing but those blocks. So that's what RFTools can do for us, and we need to start by making a dimension builder. Actually, we don't need to start with that, but this is the most important part of that whole thing. We're probably going to need like a few of those. They're cheap. So let's make a dimension builder. It requires some awakened draconium, which is awful. But we're also going to need, let's see, what else are we going to need? We're going to need a dialing device. So let's get that. We are going to need a matter transmitter. We're not going to worry about a matter receiver because we don't actually need that. And then we're going to need, let's see, what else are we going to need? We're going to need, probably on this, let's see, Dimension Inscriber. You need one of those, and a dimension editor, I think. Yes. So we're going to need a little bit more gold. That is kind of annoying. Why did my... I mean, I'm not getting gold from anything, and the only thing that's actually giving us gold right now is a chicken. So, it's not unreasonable to think. And then we're also going to need a Dimlet Workbench. Yeah, we're going to need a Dimlet Workbench. But we're going to need a base Dimlet part, which we can get. It's not too difficult. So let's see. We have all that. Do we have any Dimlet things up here? We do. Actually, we can grab the ones from below. So we open one of these up, and does it matter which kind of Dimlet part it is? Yes, it needs to be a base one, I guess. So we're gonna need to open a couple of these. So Dimlet Workbench. So yeah, it needs the base part, and I think we will eventually get them from one of these. So let's just open a bunch. There we go. There is some Dimlet base parts. And there is the Dimlet Workbench. So let's go ahead and put the Dimlet parcels, I think is what they're called, away. We're going to put all the Dimlet stuff in here for right now. We'll come back and get that in a moment. But we need to set up a place for all this stuff. Now, it does require a lot of power, but I think... I think just putting the dimension builder in here will be fine. Let's actually move this. I don't want that to connect. I guess it's okay. And then we can just grab a crystal binder. How many more connections do you have? Plenty. Alright, and that should give it plenty of power. So that's what I want to see. And then everything else, I guess we could put up here. You know, I could just... We're not using this stuff. We're not going to use this stuff. And I wouldn't mind having a lot of this stuff. So let's put all of the Dimlet things. We are going to need a flux point up here. And let's just get rid of all of this. I'll need to grab some stone. And then we can grab a couple of the things. So, cool. That will work just fine. Alright, so we're going to want some storage crates. Crates. Have I used them all? I know I had one at one point. By the way, I guess I should show this off. I fixed this. Now everything is set up pretty nicely. It's great. I like it. But, okay. So, oh, I used it right over there. That's right. Alright, so let's repair that. This is going to get all of these Dimlet parts. And let's grab all of this stuff. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a matter transceiver right here next to a dialing device. Actually, let's put this in the ground. I usually like to do that. Dialing device. Then we're going to want the inscriber, editor. Actually, I don't need the editor. I don't know why I made that. Dimension editor allows you to adjust certain types of dimlets to an existing. Alright, so yeah, I don't think I wanted that. And then a Dimlet Workbench. And then this, we will get the small storage crate, and this is going to be our Dimlet storage. Now, I have a bunch of the parcels. I'll need to basically deal with them at some point. But let's see, these all require power. Actually, this one doesn't. The Inscriber doesn't. So let's switch those two machines around. And then we can just grab a power cable conduit. And everything should be fine. So put that stuff back away. Cool. Then that also needs power. I forgot about that. How do we want to do this? I guess what I could do is grab some more conduits and some stone. Just grab a few more. Let's grab some stone. And what we can do is we can actually put it in behind. That'll work. And then what we can finish things up with is we can put this guy, I guess, here will be fine. And then plug those both in, and this should get power. Cool. Name, home. Okay, so we should see home there. Awesome. So with that taken care of, let's fill that back in. This is our RFTools stuff. So what RFTools does is kind of cool. Let's pop down here. Let's clean up our inventory a little bit. Now with this advanced dislocator, things are going to be a lot easier. So the first thing we need is an empty dimension tab. We're actually going to make a handful of these, and let's get just a normal chest. Actually, let's get two, because this thing can require a lot of power. We're going to have most of these down here, but we're going to be making things and all that kind of stuff over here. So let's put that there. And yeah, we can make different dimlets, as they're called. And dimlets require various things. So for example, if we wanted glowing light orange blocks, we would need a level 4 circuit, I believe that is. Yes, control circuit level 4. We need to have a material absorber that's full of glowing orange blocks. We need to have the advanced energy modules, the advanced memory unit, and what else? We need to have the dimlet type, which is material, and we need to have the base part. So we get a lot of those from, except for the absorbers, we get all of that stuff from just randomly from the parcels, the dimlet parcels, these things, which typically drop from Enderman. We can also, I do believe, break down. Yeah, we can also extract dimlets that we get into parts, if we so choose. So what does that all mean? Well, basically, we can create our own dimensions using dimlets. And if we had any, which we don't, there is a few that you can craft. Probably one of the best is the effect none. This guy. So we're going to make a couple of those, I think, because they're really useful. You can get some really bad effects in random dimensions, so making sure that there are no effects at all is usually pretty good. Wrong way. Actually, not wrong way. Let's go over here for a second and grab some more dragon egg. I'd like to get the dragon egg mill up and running soon, because we can just put that in a corner somewhere and just call it a day. But we're going to keep dimlets up here. And probably what we'll end up doing is getting a couple more storage crates. But what we can do is we can do just a random, if I can spell random, 1 dimension. And we're just going to put 1 dimlet in here. And this is going to make just a random dimension. We could also make it very specific. So if we wanted, for example, it doesn't show all the dimlets, but some of the dimlets we could make is like, oh, I don't know, we could make a dragon dimension where the ender dragon spawns naturally. We could make a dimension that is nothing but blocks of diamonds. We could make a dimension that is nothing but liquid whatever. Anything that we would want, we can pretty much do. If we wanted nothing but, okay, I don't know if we could do liquid lithium, but, you know, if we wanted nothing but liquid purple slime, we could. We could make something that's oceans, and you can make some really cool looking dimensions. So let's just make a random one, because if we don't put any other dimlets, it will just kind of randomly do its thing. Now this one costs 1200 RF per tick and has a maintenance cost of 10 RF per tick, which is pretty good, or at least that's what we think it has. There is the chance, and something else we should probably make is the machine infuser. So let's actually do that real quick. So the machine infuser is kind of cool. I need to actually make the infuser, not just the machine frame. I couldn't remember which kind it was called. There's like 20 different mods that use machine something, machine chassis, machine frame, machine block. There's so many different ones, and I can never remember which ones are which. So let's move this guy. And we're going to put the machine infuser there. Let's get that like so. That is my dimension. We will take that down to be built here in a second. And then let's see, let's sort those, put that down there. Let's grab a conduit. And something to note is when we go to this dimension, there is a couple things that we need to be kind of concerned with. One, we can get trapped there. You don't want to get trapped in a dimension ever. It's bad. We could make something to prevent that, which is this guy, the phase field generator. Basically, if a dimension gets unpowered, things can be really, really bad. Now that shouldn't happen. Wrong menu. So long as these chunks are claimed and chunk loaded. So that is going to be fine. But it's usually good to have a little bit of security anyways. So the phase field generator basically protects us when a dimension is unpowered. And when a dimension is unpowered, you can die and lose all your stuff very easily. And I don't want that. So we're going to get this guy. And I guess let's go ahead and have this charge all items. I don't think it will. Oh, this is empty. Well, whatever. Let's go ahead and throw it in there. I don't think it will charge that, so no. We need the dimension builder. So let's go ahead and have that charging while we're doing things. And yeah, so the phase field generator will protect us if the dimension becomes unpowered. But there's also the chance of falling out of the world and all that kind of fun stuff. So we're going to have flight and all that kind of fun stuff. Now you can get trapped in these worlds. So I didn't really explain, but this matter transmitter does exactly what it sounds like it does. It transmits matter, specifically us. So yeah, we're going to be sending ourselves to another dimension. And there is a receiver on that end, but typically you should have a matter transmitter dialing device and a matter receiver at your base. However, we're not going to worry about that. We're also going to infuse this guy just a little bit, which will reduce power consumption and all that kind of fun stuff. But it's going to require a lot of dimensional shards, and I don't think we have that many. So we're not going to use them all. But this will just kind of help make things a little bit nicer. That should get us up to 25%. Yeah, so it'll take 4 stacks to fully infuse this guy, but that's fine. So we'll go ahead and place him back, and we can build this dimension. So it'll take a few seconds. It has to actually build the dimension, and it's creating it. And then once it's made, we'll see the maintenance cost is 10 RF per tick, which is not too bad. And it's going to constantly, you know, be taking power. Hopefully we have enough power. And it is going to give a lot of power to this world anyways. So, okay, it's finally getting up. Yeah, the world itself, the dimension holds, what, 40 million RF? I had to use my finger to count the zeros. And so, that's really cool. That's fine. But the secret to all of this, and this is the cool part, with the advanced dislocator, we can go into these worlds and then come back whenever we want. We can even set up, if we want to keep that world, we can set up a teleport to there and not worry about it, because typically when we teleport to these worlds, we're going to have a way back. You'd have to bring a dialing device, a matter transmitter, and have a matter receiver at your base and power supply, and get, you know, set that all up. But with the advanced dislocator, we don't have to worry about that. We can just go there, and then when we're done, we just teleport back home. It's really easy. So let's go to our first dimension. Hopefully it doesn't lag too much. And there's a couple things we want to look for. So there is that. And so we just stand into the light and we get teleported. Now, there's a couple things that could happen. One, we'll always stand on a nice platform. You'll see in a second. It's lit up and it has a matter receiver. Alright, so this is an interesting world. We are technically in the Nether. It is sunny. There are energetic sheep. I don't know what those are. There's going to be gas. And the world is just fully cobblestone. I've never seen these energetic sheep. That is interesting. What happens if I kill one? I have to find out. I'm scared that they're going to blow up. Nope. Anything special? It has power. I've never seen this mod. Okay. So, welcome to the Nether, technically. You're going to get some weird things. Obviously, it is eternally that time, whatever time that is, in this dimension. And what we can do is just kind of fly around a little bit. And I'm looking for something in particular. But there's one. Alright, so this is what I'm looking for. These are going to help us make things a little bit better. And they should be relatively common. There's like 4 right here. But we are, again, we're technically in the Nether. It's the Nether biome, so Nether mobs are spawning. So these are Dimlets that we can find. These little dimensional houses have them. And they usually have other things too. So we're just going to take everything. Let's put our item dislocator on. And so yeah, what I'm going to get to do is basically travel around to a bunch of these things and see if I can't find anything cool. There was something that was actually really cool. Also, I'm going to want to have inventory kind of set up. So we're going to want to have our bag for getting things. One of these, yeah, Ardite ore, a rarity 5. That is really good. So yeah, we can get really good rarity items from doing this. And basically, just kind of in general, we'll want to grab a bunch of these dimensional houses is I think what they're called, what everybody calls them. And I don't even know why I opened the chest. I'm just going to take the chest. And I can just spend some time going around. This world is relatively cheap, so it's not going to cause any problems. It's actually not a bad dirt cobble, dirt vertical, cobblestone. Ugh. I don't know why I keep opening the chest. force of habit, I think. So yeah, basically we can just go through all of these various dimensions. If we like things in these dimensions, for example, the time of day for this one is not too bad. I could actually take it. So there are absorbers, and we can use that. It's really weird how the thorn vines are. But yeah, so we just kind of do all this stuff and no problems. We're also going to get a bunch of different dimlets just randomly. And yeah, from there, what we can start doing is making our own dimensions that have more of what we want. And if you can't tell, by the way, this is actually the Nether like terrain generation as, but it's just cobblestone. I do wonder if it's all cobblestone. It probably is. But there could be actual like ores and stuff in the ground. There's oil, which I don't think you'd see in the Nether. And yeah, it's just it's really kind of cool. So I do have to be a little bit careful. Some of these houses can have spawns, and that's something to look at. So effect wither 3. There is always the chance that you get something like that in a random dimension, i.e. a really, really nasty effect that like basically kills you when you get into the world. And that's why I use the effect none. So it guarantees that there is no effect, positive or negative. There's water. Instead of lava, there's water. There might actually be ores. There can be, I think, always a dimensional shard ore, which is cool. That would allow us to infuse our machines more and make things a little bit nicer. But basically, it's just going to be a matter of me kind of going around, trying to find these houses, looting them, and moving on. So once my inventory is full, then I restart. I go back home and call it a day, basically. So yeah, this is going to be my life for a while. Chiselstone, glowstone, because one of the big problems with this in particular is that's obsidian. Cool. So we can collect obsidian. We can have a obsidian world. Imagine this, but instead of cobblestone, it's all obsidian. The problem that we're going to run into, and it's going to be difficult to get anything really cool and really good, because one of the big things is all of the materials, that is just water. All of the materials are going to be, if they can be chiseled, they're going to be a chiseled variant, usually. So that means instead of having like one cobblestone dimlet that we can get, there's like, I don't know, 15 or 16. I don't actually know how many how many of the various things there are of the chisel blocks, like how many of each of the blocks there are. But basically we're gonna have the problem of we're gonna get a lot of them. Yeah, so this is a concern sometimes if it is a hostile mob, but these are just imps. Yeah, so there's cobblestone brick encased. So that is unfortunate just because obviously we don't necessarily want to get 20 different dimlets that are different cobblestones. That's not useful to us. So finding the really cool, finding the really rare stuff is going to be a little bit of a challenge. You know, a ghast in this type of world is really interesting because you can't actually break any blocks, so it's a lot safer. Plus it's always day, and you know, there's no lava. I haven't seen any lava. I do wonder what like the underworld of this looks like. But it seems like it's just a kind of normal dimension. Now, if I wanted to make a different dimension to go explore, that is a little bit tricky because the dimensions are always the same based on what dimlets you put into it. So if you put the same dimlets into a world, you should get the same dimension. I do believe is how it works. So we'd have to add some dimlets just to make it different. So that is a thing. But all in all, like, this is not that difficult. Usually you can use the map. I haven't actually been looking at the map. There is a house over here. But yeah, you can usually use the map and figure out where the houses are. You can see them from above. Ooh, lapis blocks. That's not bad. Obviously, the more expensive the block, the better the block, the more expensive the cost is going to be for RF. And there's this whole calculation. This is... Hold on. It looks like... It almost looks like this is a... There's a rabbit. Hi. The rabbit's wearing a tuxedo. On the map, this looks like it's a fortress. But it also kind of doesn't. That's weird. I do wonder if there are fortress-looking areas, but it's really hard to tell with it being cobblestone. Did I get that one? No. Alright, so this is going to get boring pretty fast for you guys. I think I've explained everything that I need to explain. I'm going to continue collecting things until my inventory fills up. And then I'm going to head back home to the base and kind of sort things through and then probably get more. So that is the plan. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Next time, we might start working on making some better dimensions. Then again, we might do something completely different. I honestly have no idea because I'm not entirely sure how I want to progress through the next little bit of this map. We're gonna run into some big problems very soon, but we need to do this, so it was about time. So anyways, that's gonna be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.